Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. All right, man. Some things are bigger than basketball, man. Some things are bigger than basketball. I got to applaud Kyrie Irving, as we always talk about Kyrie Irving on this channel. Uh, he stood up, man. He stood up for what he believed in on the podium tonight. Um, said what he wanted to say about the post that he posted. And guys in the New York media, they tried to hold him accountable, doing their job as they do, and he was not backing down at all from what he said, from what his position was, which is how I felt and articulated his position. It was what I thought of his position, which was he's trying to uplift his people that look like myself, people that look like Native American people who've been in situations that don't really have a lot, may not know of their heritage, may not know of their history. He's trying to point us in the right direction. And people like Kanye West are trying to show us what's behind the curtain, and there's things to learn, man. And it's long been understood that these conversations are taboo, and that black people are supposed to stay in their place in regards to certain things, but that's just not where we're headed. And those who've been running things a certain way need to adapt to the times and be prepared for that. I mean, I don't think it's gotta be as ugly as it looks right now, but people are gonna unearth truths that have long been hidden. It's the internet age, man. I mean, you just gotta know that this is what comes with people waking up. So I support Kyrie Irving 130% on what it is that he had to display up there. I mean, the fact that he had to do that was just ridiculous in and of itself. I do not personally think it's necessary for players to talk to the media after these games, especially when we understand beyond the shadow of a doubt that a lot of times they're only there to gain information about the games and then antagonize the players further for our entertainment. And as a consumer, I just don't need that entertainment. What I need is to know that the players are good. What I need to know is that their mental health is taken care of. What I need to know is that they're getting home early to their kids so that they continue to live happy lives and get back out there and do what it is that they do with a refreshed mind, rather than considering things that they have posted online and getting all kinds of different backlash about things that don't have anything to do with basketball. I think that at the end of the day, this is the wrong approach, and we are realizing that treatment on high is something that we really want to focus on as we enter the next era of existence. We want to know why we're being censored. We want to put an end to certain censorship. We want to have a little more wiggle room in regards to what it is we're defining. We don't want to be told we're evil when that's not what we're claiming. And we don't want to be scolded for being evil or scolded for being hateful when that's not what it is we're representing. And we definitely don't want to be purposefully misrepresented. So that is what we're fighting against. These are practices that have taken place for a very long time, and people have accepted these things. And what you're seeing is simply people no longer accepting these things. And you're seeing those from behind the curtain, so to speak, reacting to it poorly, as far as I can tell. Reacting to it very poorly. Reacting to it predictably, as they normally would when they have, something like this that they're reacting to. They enact all opportunities and all, vessels that they have to basically smear whatever it is or whoever it is that they want to cancel or do away with or ultimately take money from. And it all boils down to control, as far as I can tell. Simple control. And, it's something that needs to be talked about. It's something that people are going to have to get over their feelings about in regards to who's being talked about and what's being unearthed. Because these are not just baseless conversations, and clearly all of us can see that something is being hidden. People are being suppressed, and they're not exactly hateful. So what is really going on? You know what I mean? That's what it really comes down to. Never mind if you agree with Kyrie Irving and Kanye West. If they're not actually hateful, then why are they being censored? We just need to start being a little more inquisitive about who is censoring us and why. And then from there, what else are they up to? So, there are people who have more knowledge than me about the conversation that I've been bringing to this channel. And a lot of them are making declarations I haven't made, because I haven't read what they read, I haven't seen what they see. But what I can say is I've been hearing these things all my life, and I've been also told that I dare not bring them up. If I want to have any chance of success in this life, if I want to have any chance of making it in this life, I need not ever cross the line in regards to Jewish people. Not my own people, not my brothers I happen to live amongst who happen to speak Spanish, not my Asian brothers and sisters who I happen to love very much, not my white brothers and sisters who I happen to love very much as well. No, all of them, it's wiggle room. Depending on what I said and where I say it, it's cool. But I dare not be labeled anti-Semitic, regardless if I understand what it is or not. And that, to me, that's a norm that isn't normal. That's what that is. That's something we've adapted to for many years that we should have questioned. We should have questioned that. And then some of the methods that we didn't question and further things that were taking place in regards to these relationships need to be examined as well. When we start talking about business practices and some of the things that have been alleged, I think it's okay to keep looking. I think it's okay to keep having conversations. I don't think it's hateful to have conversations about things that people are not clear on when so much money is involved. Let's just be honest. When so much money is involved. So that's what this feels like to me. This sounds like a suppression of voices in regards to a conversation that will unearth many truths that have long been hidden. And so that's why I think people are being suppressed, not because they're anti-Semitic, but because if we start asking questions about what anti-Semitic is, we're going to start finding out what it actually is and what it actually isn't. And then from there, we'll start finding out what's been going on that we've been long told we should never ask or talk about, or we'll lose everything. We're ready to lose everything. What happens if we lose everything? That's what Kanye West is essentially saying to all of us. Okay, I got it all now. I want to see what happens when they do this. They can take everything from me. Let's see what happens. That's exactly what we all just witnessed. He wasn't looking to punch, swing, spit, or do any of this sort in regards to Jewish people. I don't believe. I don't think that was. I think that could have been just as fiction as an actor reading a script. You know what I'm saying? I literally think it was fiction. I think the man was trying to make a point solely for these type of conversations and these type of unearthings to begin. I really believe that. I think a lot of people believe he's on a mission from God too. So it's like, from my perspective as a spiritual person, you guys know how I get down, and you know who I've been praying about and for and all of this. And my little strange little piece of the puzzle in regards to just the timing of everything. You know what I mean? If you've been following me, you probably do. But it is what it is, you know. Now that I'm starting to see things coming together, in regards to things that I've been praying about and people I've been praying for, and seeing their lives change right before my very eyes, and seeing them gain confidence in ways that they may not have had it before I started this process. And I don't know, I believe, right? As a believer, it's like, you know what I mean? You truly believe that God is doing great things for you, and maybe he'll extend that favor to others. But when you start really praying that he extends that to others, and you start seeing stuff like this to those others, it's like, whoa. Especially when you don't know these people. You know what I mean? It's like that. And so for me, these are two of those people. It just so happens to be two of those people, and I'm watching them kind of doing the same thing and kind of unearthing the same truth, so to speak, and bringing to light the same thing. And I'm just like, this is all spiritual, man. It's all spiritual. It's all spiritual. We can sit here and pretend that we don't see it. A lot of people don't see it yet because they're still on the wrong side of it. They're still not questioning what the word anti-Semitism actually means versus what it is that's actually taking place here. But once they start understanding that there's something to ask there, then they'll start seeing that there's more to see here. And I'm telling you, it's spiritual. This type of stuff feels like it's moving like the wind blows, like the sun rises, and all that other stuff that we have no control over. This feels like one of those. And that's why I try to express my feelings to those who watch me, especially those who've watched me closely, who've kind of seen the coincidences unfold. Stuff that I said, yo, I need help with, and then seen me talk about how they came my way. You guys can kind of tell how I see the world and how the world is kind of just doing stuff that I've been talking about, so to speak. Things that I've brought up on this channel, then people bring them up right after that. It's like, I don't know if these folks are watching me or if we're all on the same wavelength and it's just time for certain things. You know what I mean? Like, literally. I'd like to think a little bit of both since I'm up here speaking so much, but I think the point is that there's power in words, whether people are listening or not. That's the secret. There's power in words. And so if you pray for certain things and you see just wrongdoings in life and wrongdoings in the world, you put your prayer, your effort toward being a better person on the inside, because believe me, prayer without works is dead. But if you do the work, you put in the prayers, and you want for others more than you want for yourself, I think what I'm seeing is proof that really, really amazing things can happen. And so that's just what I'm here to say. I'm here to say that. You know, it's very strange to me. It's very strange to me because when I first started praying for Kanye West, he was going through a dark time. Like, he was going through the mental health stuff. He had just dropped that one album where he was talking about he's bipolar and I'm fine. Like, it was around that time where he was really going through it. Right after My Life of Pablo, about a year and a half after My Life of Pablo dropped, when everything was going bad, that was when I realized, yo, I don't know if this guy's gonna make it through this. And I remember praying for him when his mom passed away. You know, the night his mom passed away, I remember sitting in the bathroom in the dark, just praying, heavily praying for him as if I had lost my mother or something. It was very strange, you know, spiritual, really spiritual. And it was, you know, it was just one of those situations where it's like, you know, somebody's going to embark on a very powerful journey, but you don't exactly know. You know what I mean? You just know they're talented, they're making music and all that good stuff. But like, something in my spirit told me that his journey was going to be a little different. You know what I mean? And maybe mine would be too. But in its own way, of course. Nevertheless, it's like, fast forward, and now you see what this person's embarking on. And it's almost like, I can tell you what's next is going to be big. Based on what all of this, I can predict to you whatever's next is going to be pretty big. And I'm not certain that he understands what's going on. You know, I listened to Kanye say he was humbled. I truly believe that. The more I'm paying attention to this type of stuff and I'm applying my spiritual thought, the more I'm starting to think that sometimes people are just not supposed to know certain things in order for them to be who they need to be in certain situations. So while you will be able to see all that's wrong with me, my eyes will be just completely blind to it so that I can be this person, so that God can use me a certain way. So if you apply that logic and you truly believe, then you could see why Kanye West was the way that he was all the way up until this point, why he idolized the artist that he did with the talent that he had, so he could be in these spaces where he went after some of the various different types of art forms outside of music and tried to master those and tried to get into these places so that he can be this way. And had he not been exactly the way he was, he wouldn't be exactly where he is in the position that he's in. So it's like, when you start to see how people are positioned in the world, how God positions people, what I've done is start to realize and try to identify who these people are and try to start praying for them a little more, try to start incorporating them into what it is that's going on here. Pillars of change is what it is I think they are. And they're in different places all over the world. Some people are famous, some of them are not. Some people are right next to you. But in my mind, when you identify those people and you're a prayerful person, like I call myself being, I think it's on us prayer warriors to attach ourselves in prayer for those people, because God is moving, man. And you know, I'm not a preacher. I don't do this, but like, sometimes it just becomes a situation where there's no other way to have the conversation. There's no other way I can truthfully have the conversation without involving spirituality into it. And I fully respect people who don't believe in spirituality, but what I would tell you is keep watching. Because we are unearthing new things in science, and I got a feeling spirituality is going to be the next thing they find proof of. I have a feeling. Because it's real, and it's just a matter of time before people start figuring out the patterns. And so what I'm telling you is, I've been praying for Kyrie Irving too, for a very long time, since I told you, the story. I don't remember exactly when I started praying for him, but it's probably been for over 2 years now. Been over 2 years. I don't remember what prompted me to. I don't know. But it's one of those situations where, I don't follow people's life that closely, but you can see man go through all different types of things and see how the world's going up against him. You see the vaccine situation. Probably started praying around then, maybe for Kai, maybe around that vaccine situation. But it was like, I remember finding myself just looking up saying, man, it's looking rough for the guy. It's looking rough for the guy. Is he ever going to be able to find his strength? Is he going to be able to keep his career and all that? But you can see he's finding his strength. The people are starting to get behind him in regards to being open-minded about what he's preaching, or rather what he's posting and things of that nature. You can just see how the world, the environment around him is starting to form better so that he can settle in it. And I think that's what it's about. What I pray for in regards to myself and just about anybody, is that the world, not that we have to adjust so much to the world, but that the world just finally settles so that we can all adjust into it, so we can all fit. You know what I mean? Like, there shouldn't be a reason why a man with an open mind can't say, yo, I have questions about this, and it may offend, and I don't know if the next thing I'm gonna say might offend, but my heart is pure, so I'm ready to apologize if the next thing I say is wrong, but I'm ready to have a conversation that's difficult because I want to gain understanding. If we can't be smart enough to identify that in the people around us, and we just going around canceling people who have that as their intention, then it's not the people that we're pointing that at that are flawed. It's the system and the people who are using that and abusing that. And that is ultimately what we've learned here. That's exactly what we've learned here. They are out of control, whoever they are. And everything that comes after that is just what needs to come after that. But why they're going to be looked into, why people are going to be talking about them, is not because they've done such a fantastic job in canceling people that need to be wiped away. It's because we clearly seen that there's an olive branch with these people, with the people. As I told you, I seen Kyrie's post from the past, so I already knew what it was to look for. You can't tell me the guy's this or that because I seen it with my own eyes. And if he makes a mistake, I know what his intention is based on the other stuff that he put up and the consistency that he placed, coupled with the accountability that he said in regards to certain things that he's held himself accountable for making mistakes, which is what I want to normalize on this channel. People make mistakes. If you follow me, I misspeak more than 5 times a day. More than 5 times a day. It's why I'm not professional. It's exactly why I'm not professional. But at the same time, it's like, can we normalize it? Can we normalize saying, I know what he meant? Can we normalize saying, let's find out what he meant? Let's find out what she meant. Let's normalize that. I don't know how far it goes, because the N-word, it's being it's all over Twitter. You know what I mean? Elon Musk has, lifted the censorship. I'm going to tell you guys something else. I may have already said this, but Musk is on the list. Yes, he is. I started praying for him when I found out that he had a child with some rock star lady, and they named the kid after a dope fighter jet that they have. Yeah, that prompted me to start praying for him for absolutely no reason, and I've kept it up ever since. And then have learned all of the things that he's been involved in. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he was Tesla, obviously SpaceX, but like, you know what I mean? Now I started seeing, as soon as I started praying for him, now I started seeing him pop up next to other people I'm praying for. It's the strangest thing in the world, and I'm very, very serious. Like it's Kanye West, Wag 100. Like these are people that I pray for. He's someone I pray for, and now they start popping up next to each other when I start praying for them. This is not a joke. I'm serious. I'm very, very serious. As sure as I'm holding this camera in my hand, these things happen in sequence. So it's like, okay, all right, you guys. Now it's like I gotta start being more vocal about what it is I'm seeing, so you guys can start understanding how I'm kind of viewing the world and why certain things I may say may come off the way I do, or why I kind of zero in on certain topics or certain people. It's because I'm very much hopeful that things will work out for those folks. You know what I mean? Not that I think that I know these people by any stretch of the imagination, but through prayer, I found some type of, inspiration, and strength within myself to keep going. You know what I mean? It's like I've taken and this is gonna sound kind of funny, but it's what it is. I've taken the fantasy football, fantasy basketball model, and I've applied it to prayer with various people, whether it be celebrities or friends or people I've known. And so instead of, like investing in seeing how their stats are doing or whatever, you pray for these individuals. And when you see good things happen, you have something to root for. It cured me of a lot of types of depression and things of that nature. So this is how this journey embarked. I started on this journey. So when I say I pray for this person, pray for that person, pray for this person, you understand where it comes from. It's not just me randomly worshiping stars or something like that. Nah, I mean, like, this is a fighting, everlasting fight against depression, And so my mother raised me as a Christian, and this is how we do. The ancestors pray, you know what I mean? We pray over our kids, we pray over the village that we raise, the kids that are next to us, all of that stuff. So for me, it's like I've just taken that a step further in my journey in life, and in my dabbling with spirituality, and taking the notion that prayer can really work and applying it in ways that maybe might be like technical in nature, rather than applying it like a lot of people do, where they go to church on Sunday, this or that. Now I'm like strategically applying it to see if it works, as if it's like a science project in my apartment for no reason. And that's exactly what I'm doing, and I'm seeing stuff manifest. Like, just I'm seeing the pieces and the players in the game, so to speak, the fantasy prayerful ones are all starting to move, coming together. Lives are changing, people are healing, babies are being born, complications are going away, people are getting rich, people get encouraged. Like, I'm seeing it all, man. I'm seeing it with my own eyes. And so it's like, what else can I do with it but to keep it going, to share with those who will follow my channel, so they know exactly where my head is, where my spirit's at, and then see where this goes from here. Maybe encourage other people to find that strength too. Kyrie said he had a whole army behind him. And that's real, brother. It's real. Like, this is true, because I know for a fact, if the Lord inspired me, random me in Los Angeles, to do this, He's probably inspiring people all over the world at the same time to do it in their own way. This is not something independent I've come up with. I'm telling you, the living God is moving. Sure as I'm saying words, this is true. So it's like, I don't even really worry about the numbers as it pertains to my channel. I don't really worry about if people are gonna get what I'm saying, because this stuff is here. These words are being said. These prayers are out in the open, and at this point, I'm seeing the results. So at this point, from here, I just tell everybody, don't be on the wrong side of history in regards to this conversation. It's a spiritual one, man, and it's not hateful. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I believe black people, Jewish people, white people, Asian people, we're all one. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you think of one another, we're going to be together on this slab of land, which means we're going to be each other's kin. So we always got to remember that when we take offense or take a stance against one another. Whether you believe in the spirituality things that I'm on, or you don't have none of that in your atmosphere, you got to know that once you mate with anybody, that person's going to mate with somebody, and it just keeps going on just like anything else. And so there's no reason to think that forever your group is going to stay as is. Aren't all of our groups just but other groups that have formed together over time anyway? I mean, we're all each other anyway. So when we have these conversations about who am I the real this, who am I the real that, I mean, we're all together going to pass what we've gained and what we've learned in the practice of how we handle this to the next generations and the generations after that. And they're not going to care how many of us who are offended, how many of us this, how many of us that, however the fate goes. They're just going to want to know who they were, who they are. And that's what we're going to help them understand. I don't want to live in a country or a world where some people really don't know who they are anymore. And with the notion that others may actually know and may be hiding it from them, that's actually happening in this world, maybe even in this country. For that, some people actually walk around believing this alone is why this conversation is necessary, regardless how you feel about it. Do you not agree? Wouldn't you feel safer if everybody knew what the truth was, regardless of what it was in this regard? I'd feel a lot safer. I feel like my relationships and my friendships would be more genuine if there's truth in between us, not animosity and censorship. So, like I said, the N-word being all over Twitter, to just follow up with what I was thinking about that, it's a double-edged sword. Because if I'm going to tell them they can't say that right now, I also got to tell Ye he can't say this right now. Because at the end of the day, it's the same people censoring us for the same reasons. And they don't have it right now. So we got to see the bigger picture and just keep our voice. And if you don't like what you hear, then that's your right to ignore it. I think we've allowed the desire for censorship to let these people get out of control with that censorship. We can censor ourselves. If you don't want to see something, you turn it off. If you know what I mean, you have censorship on your screens and things of that nature. If you can protect your children with those censorship things, those things are working to your systems. You don't need that from an outside source. You don't need that from the government. You don't need that from the apps. You know what I mean, in my humble opinion. So let's discipline ourselves. You know, filter your own content, filter your own energy, pay attention to what your kids are watching. Because these same people who are censoring certain things, you got to understand they're also funneling certain things. Yes, they are. Do not think the evil stops there. It ain't just that they don't want you to hear certain things, it's that they definitely do want you to hear other things. And so we got to stay prayed up. Because it's obvious we don't understand fully, at least the common man, what sciences they're actually using on us, how far it goes, how deep they've gotten into it at this point. I don't know, and I don't speculate, but what I am saying is we got to guard our thoughts. That's what I am saying. We can't wait for anybody, any group, whether they have power or not, to tell us what hate actually is. You got to feel love. Feel love. Look for love. Seek love. And you will know what it is not once you have it. I don't need anybody to tell me what it is, and they certainly don't need nobody to tell me what I am. If what I've said in any way, shape, or form has ignited people to do anything wrong, it was never my intention, and it never will be. It's a sad thing that we have to say those things when we open our mouths to say certain things that we're not sure about. But the reality is people do ignite when they hear certain things, and they're not thinking the fullness of what you're thinking. They just hear, yeah, and then they go out with their hate and do what they do. So I respect words and why it's important that certain words not be said, especially to certain people. But at the end of the day, that can all be fine, but those in place to enforce that, they have to be of balanced minds. They have to be willing to see everybody on an equal scale, not just when it benefits them, not just to certain degrees, but for the betterment of governing the entire body. they must see it the same way. And so this is why this is toxic in my opinion. It's bad for our people. It's bad for our present. It's just not. We don't need this. How that has been going, we don't need that. You know, so we got to redefine certain things. In my opinion, I absolutely trust that these prayers are working. That these kids that are going to be growing up are going to take some of the good from what we're doing here, and they're going to devise even better ways of living. But I hope to spark their minds, hopefully, somehow, with what I say. So that's really what I got, man. Proud of all the people I pray for, man. I call them the prayed ones. If anybody want to know what the heck I call that, that's not even a word, but that's what I say in my head. Anytime I see any one of those people on that list, they're the prayed ones. The Lord's working with them, through them, around them. Hopefully, you know, if what I believe in is true, that's happening. You know, but as life continues to go as it goes, I'll continue to keep this camera in my face and continue to illustrate all the things that I go through. You know what I mean? And continue to try to keep myself as positive as possible. And with that comes a truth to my spirit, that I appeal to the source. Any good thing I ever get, any blessing ever comes my way, any person that ever gives me any applause, any break I ever receive, any mercy I've ever been given, it's all comes from one place. And I believe something, even though I know a lot of religions will tell us that this is not the case, but I believe something. I don't believe he believes we're supposed to know his name. I know that's blasphemous in a lot of religions because everybody got the right God, no doubt, but I don't think that's really how love works at all, man. I think it's one of those things where it's like, I created you, I know what you know, so that you don't know is by design. But I did put you over there with those people, so you got to learn how to live amongst your kind. But when you step away from your kind, you still got to be kind, because everybody's everybody. At the end of the day, as I said, we're all going to be related tomorrow. And history shows us that, so that's why we got to love one another, even though we got to respect our own groups. You be confident in your own groups, you love your own groups, you be loyal to your groups, but you understand that your group isn't just your group. We're in this thing together. Your culture matters, your color matters, your identity matters. But once you start thinking that you're more than human, once you start thinking you're controlling others is the way it should go, like you're the source itself, like you have the understanding and the all-seeing wisdom just because you have control over technology and science of the day, trust me when I say, you do not control the weather. You don't control the weather. And that's when we understand we have to adhere to certain things. And that's why I pray to a God that's above me, because I know that he does. And at any given time, while I got this plan going on, or the next man has his plan going on, and he's succeeding in his plan, and he's manipulating others, and he's getting over it, at any given moment, he could turn the heat up on all of us, freeze us all over, start raining bowling balls of hail on our heads. It does not have to end. That's what I understand. When he starts pushing off that wrath, you start getting earthquakes, lightning storms, tsunamis, all at once. I'm not talking about anything we can fathom. I'm talking about stuff you haven't seen. It's possible if you get mad enough. So that's why I adhere. And that's why I speak the way I speak freely, man, because I know at the end of the day, whether people believe it or not, this is a fact. This is a fact. And so that's why I try to just tell people I'm a flawed individual. I ain't no God. I ain't no perfect. I don't control the weather. I pray to the source. I adhere to the source. And I'm susceptible to any type of evil like anybody else. And I'm going to go into the ground just like everybody else. And I think that makes me powerful. Because I never have to be insecure enough to believe I need to be a God. That's a perfection I should never want. I can't do nothing with that. I couldn't do nothing with a God-like power. I wouldn't know the first thing to do with it. You know what I mean? So it's like, until you can tell the future and control the weather, I'm afraid you're gonna have to stand down one way or another. That's what I know. This is the truth, man. Anyway, this is my therapy session. I appreciate everybody listening to me, man. Shout out to Kai, shout out to Kanye, shout out to the Prayed Ones. One day I will illustrate all the names on the list that I can give you, because some of them are private people y'all don't need to know, but like the celebrities and stuff, I'll let y'all know who it all was. But the list continues to grow, man, at absolute random. And for me, when I pray, my prayers are not just for those people, but for the good around them. You know what I mean? And for the generations to come. This is generational prayer. Like the ancestors did. As I said, so that's what I'm on, man. Wanted to give you guys a glimpse into the spirit of the man, just in case you ever hear something that may disrespect your group or may make you feel like I'm being an angry black dude or something like that. I mean, the anger is just, it's not, I don't know, man. I think it's overblown. You know what I mean? I think it's overblown. I think people have a lot to learn about black people as it pertains to the misconceptions about what we actually are, what's going on the inside of us. I just think it's been a bunch of lies for a long time, man. A whole lot of lies. I can tell you this from the inside of one. It ain't what you guys have been told. It's just not, man. It's not. There's good and bad everywhere, dude. But the way that they're describing what hate is, no, man. I honestly wonder if they even know, if they really even know what hate is, when they engage in this type of behavior and then deem themselves the virtuous ones. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.